Actress. The curtain of the stage fell. Tara Devi had enchanted the audience with her portrayal of Shakuntala. While, in the guise of Shakuntala, she stood before King Dushyant, expressing her anguish, humiliation, and pain with fiery words, the audience, in a frenzy, rushed towards the stage, disregarding all norms of decorum, to praise Tara Devi. Some even climbed the stage and fell at her feet. The entire stage was flooded with flowers, and jewelry rained down upon her. If Menaka's celestial chariot had not descended at that moment to whisk her away, there might have been casualties in the ensuing chaos. The manager promptly thanked the audience for their appreciation and promised a repeat performance the next day, which finally calmed the crowd. Yet, one young man remained on stage. Tall, with a radiant, noble face, he looked like a prince, exuding an aura of divinity. His well-built physique and the light radiating from his face made him stand out. After the audience had left, he approached the manager and asked, "May I meet Tara Devi for a moment?" The manager replied indifferently, "That's against our rules." The young man persisted, "Could you at least deliver a letter to her?" The manager, with the same indifference, responded, "No, I'm afraid that's not allowed." Disheartened, the young man descended from the stage, preparing to leave when the manager suddenly asked, "Wait a moment. May I have your card?" The young man pulled out a small piece of paper, scribbled something, and handed it over. The manager glanced at it briefly. "Kuvar Nirmalkant Chaudhary, OBE." The manager's stern demeanor softened immediately. Kuvar Nirmalkant, the wealthiest landowner in the city, a distinguished scholar, an accomplished musician, a man with an annual income of 8 to 10 lakhs, and a patron of countless charities, was standing before him like a humble petitioner. Embarrassed by his earlier attitude, the manager spoke with newfound humility, "Forgive me for my rudeness. I shall personally deliver your card to Tara Devi at once." Kuvar Sahib stopped him with a gesture, "No, let it be. I will come tomorrow at 5. I don't want to disturb her rest at this hour." The manager, eager to make amends, insisted, "I'm sure she would gladly make an exception for you. Please allow me to inform her." But Kuvar Sahib, having revealed his identity, now felt the need to restrain his eagerness. He thanked the manager politely and left, promising to return the next day. Meanwhile, Tara was seated at a well-arranged table in her tidy room, lost in thought. The scene from the night was still vivid in her mind. How often do such days come in one's life? So many people had been desperate for just a glimpse of her, nearly trampling over one another. Many had been cast aside by her, yes, cast aside. Yet, amidst that throng, one divine figure had stood firm, his gaze filled with deep affection and unwavering resolve. His eyes seemed to pierce her heart. Would she see that man again today? Who could say? But if they did meet, Tara resolved not to let him leave without speaking to him. As she pondered this, she glanced at the mirror. Her face bloomed like a lotus. Who would guess that this blossoming flower had seen the spring of 33 years? Her beauty, her grace, her charm, her sweetness, they could put a young maiden to shame. Once again, Tara kindled the flame of love in her heart. 20 years ago, she had tasted the bitter experience of love. Since then, she had led a kind of widowhood, rejecting countless admirers who had offered her their hearts. She had never lifted her gaze to any of them, for she had sensed deception in their love. But today, her self-control had slipped from her grasp. Once again, she felt that sweet pain in her heart, the same she had felt 20 years ago. The image of that man's serene face was etched in her mind, painted upon the canvas of her heart. She could not forget him. If she had seen him driving by in his car, she might not have even noticed. But having witnessed his heartfelt offer of love before her, she was moved beyond control. Suddenly, her maid entered and said, "Madam, should I bring the gifts from last night?" Tara replied, "No need to bring them here. But tell me, what's there?" The maid listed the items. "There's a huge pile, madam, gold coins, brooches, hairpins, buttons, lockets, rings. There's a beautiful necklace in a small box too. I've never seen such a necklace before. I've stored everything in the chest." Tara said, "Bring the chest to me." As the maid brought the chest, a boy came in with a letter for Tara. She glanced at the letter eagerly. It was from Kunwar Nirmalkant, OBA. Who gave you this letter? She asked the boy. Was it the man with the silk turban? The boy simply replied, the manager gave it to me, and quickly ran out. Inside the chest, the small box was immediately noticeable. Tara opened it to reveal a necklace of real pearls. Alongside it was a card. She quickly grabbed it and read Kunwar Nirmalkant. The card slipped from her hands. Tara leaped from her chair and, rushing through several rooms and corridors, confronted the manager. The manager rose to greet her, saying, I congratulate you on your success last night. Tara, standing, asked hastily, is Kunwar Nirmalkant still outside? The boy ran off before I could ask him anything. The manager replied, Kunwar Sahib's letter arrived after you had left last night. Then why didn't you send it to me immediately? Tara demanded. The manager, hesitating, said softly, I thought you might be resting, and I didn't want to disturb you. And frankly, I was afraid that if I introduced you to Kunwar Sahib, I might lose you. If I were a woman, I would have followed him immediately. I've never seen such a divine-looking man in my life. He was the one standing before you with the silk turban, wasn't he? Tara, as if in a half-dream, responded, yes, I saw him. Will he come again? The manager replied, yes, this evening at 5. He's a great scholar and the wealthiest man in the city. Tara said, I won't attend rehearsal today. Kunwar Sahib was about to arrive, and Tara sat before the mirror while her maid adorned her. In modern times, makeup had become an art. In earlier days, it was done according to traditional customs: kohl for the eyes, henna for the hands, red dye for the feet, with each ornament designated for a specific part of the body. But today, such traditions were no more. Now, every woman adorned herself based on her personal taste, intellect, and comparison, with the goal of maximizing her beauty's appeal. Tara was a master of this art. She had been with the company for 15 years and had spent her entire life playing with men's hearts. Who could surpass her in the art of making men fall with a glance, a smile, a stretch, or a casual flick of her hair? Today, she chose her finest arrows from her quiver, and when she entered the drawing room, it seemed as if the world's beauty itself was bowing before her. She stood by the table, glancing at Kunwar Sahib's card, her ears attuned to the sound of a car. She hoped that Kunwar Sahib would arrive at that moment and see her just as she was, allowing him to take in her full radiance. With her art of makeup, she had conquered time itself. Who could guess that this vivacious beauty had reached the age where the heart yearns for peace, longs for a sanctuary, and bows its pride before humility? Tara Devi didn't have to wait long. Kunwar Sahib, just as eager to meet her, arrived within 10 minutes. Tara composed herself. When Kunwar Sahib entered the room, Tara, in her excitement, even forgot the formality of a handshake. In love, even maturity doesn't always bring calm or restraint. She stood there like a bashful young maiden, her head bowed. The first thing Kunwar Sahib noticed was the pearl necklace, his gift from the night before, gleaming around her neck. Kunwar Sahib had never experienced such joy before. For a moment, he felt as though all his life's desires had been fulfilled. I'm sorry to have troubled you so early in the morning, he said. I'm sure this is your time to rest. Tara, adjusting the slipping edge of her sari, replied, there could be no greater rest than the joy of seeing you. I am so grateful for your gift, but now, may I hope for more frequent meetings? Kunwar Nirmalkant smiled and said, not just sometimes daily. Even if you don't wish to see me, I will still come to bow my head at your door. Tara, smiling in return, teased, until you find a new amusement, perhaps? Kunwar Nirmalkant replied seriously, this is no amusement for me, it's a matter of life and death. You may think it's a joke, but no matter. If my life were to end for your amusement, I would consider it fulfilled. Both promised to uphold this affection. They had breakfast together, and after inviting Tara to a feast the next day, Kunwar Sahib left. A month passed, and Kunwar Sahib visited Tara several times a day. He couldn't bear to be apart from her for even a moment. Sometimes they took boat rides on the river, sometimes they sat in parks on the green grass, talking, singing, and making music. Every day, there was a new plan. The whole city knew that Tara Bai had ensnared Kunwar Sahib and was plundering his wealth with both hands. But to Tara, Kunwar Sahib's love was the only treasure she valued, a treasure greater than all the riches in the world. In his presence, she desired nothing more. Yet, even after a month of wandering through this marketplace of love, Tara had not found what her soul truly craved. She heard Kunwar Sahib's endless declarations of love, pure and boundless, sincere and untainted, but the word, marriage, never crossed his lips. It was like a thirsty man finding everything in the marketplace except water. How could a thirsty person be satisfied with anything other than water? Once the thirst was quenched, perhaps other things would attract his interest, but for the thirsty, water is the most precious thing. Tara knew that Kunwar Sahib would lay down his life at her command, yet why did he never speak of marriage? Was it possible to write him a letter expressing her feelings? Or did he simply want to keep her as a plaything? This insult she could not bear. She would gladly throw herself into the fire at Kunwar Sahib's request. But this humiliation was unbearable. With a typical aristocrat, she might have lived for a month or two, stripping him of his wealth before moving on. But with Kunwar Sahib, she couldn't live this brazen life. His love deserved love in return. Tara was well aware that Kunwar Sahib's family was also not idle. They wanted to free him from Tara Bai's clutches. The only solution they saw was to arrange Kunwar Sahib's marriage, and that's exactly what they did. They didn't fear that Kunwar Sahib would marry the actress. No, their fear was that he might give away part of the estate in her name, or that her children might inherit the property. Kunwar Sahib was under immense pressure from all sides, even from European officials, who advised him to marry. One evening, he went to Tara Bai and said, "Tara, listen, I have something to ask of you. Please don't refuse." Tara's heart leaped. "What is it? What could you possibly give me that would make me feel blessed?" No sooner had the words left her lips than she agreed. In a state of joyous frenzy, she fell weeping at Kunwar Sahib's feet. A moment later, Tara said, "I had given up hope. You put me through a long test." Kunwar Sahib bit his tongue as if he had said something inappropriate and replied, "That's not it, Tara. If I had believed you would accept my proposal, I would have asked on the first day. But I didn't think I was worthy of you. You are a treasure trove of virtues, and you know what I am. I had decided that I would worship you all my life, hoping that one day, out of kindness, you would bless me without my asking. That was my only desire. If I have any virtue, it is that I love you. When you speak on literature, music, or religion, I am awestruck and ashamed of my own smallness. You are not of this world to me, you are heavenly. I can't believe I am not going mad with happiness right now." Kunwar Sahib continued to pour out his heart. His words had never flowed so freely before. Tara listened with her head bowed, but instead of joy, her face reflected a kind of embarrassment, shame mixed with confusion. Was this man truly so simple-hearted, so sincere, so humble, so generous? Suddenly, Kunwar Sahib asked, "So when will my good fortune dawn, Tara? Don't keep me waiting too long." Tara, now troubled by his simplicity, replied anxiously, "What about the law?" Kunwar Sahib, eager to reassure her, said, "Don't worry about that, Tara. I've consulted the lawyers. There's a law under which we can be united. It's called a civil marriage. We can do it today itself. What do you say?" Tara remained silent, her head bowed. "I'll come by in the morning. Be ready," Kunwar Sahib said. Tara still remained silent, unable to speak. Kunwar Sahib left, but Tara stayed there, seated like a statue. How had this clever woman, who had spent years playing with men's hearts, become so bewildered? The wedding was just one day away. Tara received congratulations from all sides. The women and men of the theatre had given her fine gifts according to their abilities. Kunwar Sahib had presented her with a jewelry box adorned with ornaments. His closest friends had sent various gifts. But there wasn't a trace of joy on Tara's beautiful face. She was anxious and sorrowful. For the past 4 days, one question had haunted her: could she betray Kunwar Sahib? The man who had renounced his family's honor for her, broken ties with his loved ones, whose heart was as pure as a snowflake, as vast as a mountain. Could she deceive him? No, she couldn't stoop to such degradation. In her life, she had acted out love with countless young men and shown many love-stricken fools mirages, but never before had she faced such a dilemma. Never had her heart reproached her like this. The reason was simple: she had never encountered such love before. Could she make Kumwar Sahib's life happy? Yes, certainly. She had no doubt about that. When one is devoted, what is impossible? But could she deceive nature? Could the setting sun have the brilliance of noon? Impossible. That vitality, that lightheartedness, that charm, that innocence, that self-confidence, where would she find them? The very things that define youth? No matter how much she tried, she could not make Kumwar Sahib's life happy. An old ox cannot keep pace with young calves. Oh, why had she allowed things to come to this? Why had she deceived Kumwar Sahib with her artificial beauty, with her adorned appearance? After everything that had happened, how could she now admit that she was just a painted doll, that youth had long since abandoned her, leaving only its shadow? It was midnight. Tara sat at the table, lost in these thoughts. The table was piled with gifts, but she didn't even glance at them. Just 4 days ago, she had cherished such things, always searching for items that could erase the signs of age, but now those very things repulsed her. Love was truth and falsehood could not coexist. Tara thought, why not run away? She could go somewhere where no one knew her. After Kumwar Sahib married, she could return and tell him the whole story. It would be like a thunderbolt for him now. Who knows how he would react, but this was the only path left for her. He would spend his days weeping. But no matter how much it pained her, she couldn't deceive her beloved. For her, the memory of this divine love, the sweet pain of it, would be enough. She had no right to anything more. Her maid entered and said, "Madam, please have a little food." "It's already midnight." Tara replied, "No, I'm not hungry. You go and eat." The maid added, "Don't forget me. I'll go with you." Tara said, "Have you prepared your best clothes?" The maid responded, "Oh madam, what do I need new clothes for? Just give me one of your hand-me-downs." The maid left. Tara looked at the clock. Midnight had passed, only 6 hours remained. In the morning, Kumwar Sahib would come to take her to the wedding altar. Oh God, why had you placed this before her now, the very thing you had denied her for so long? This too must be your play. Tara put on a white sari. She removed all her jewelry. Hot water was ready. She washed her face with soap and water and stood before the mirror. Where was that radiance? That light that once captivated the eyes? The face was the same, but where was the glow? Could she still pretend to be young? Tara could no longer bear to stay there for even a moment. The jewelry and luxuries spread out on the table seemed to pierce her like thorns. The artificial life had become unbearable. The cool, lavish house with its bamboo blinds and electric fans felt like a furnace. She thought, where should I run? If I flee by train, I won't get far. Kumwar Sahib's men will be out searching by morning, and they'll begin looking for me everywhere. She would escape by a route no one would suspect. Tara's heart swelled with pride at this moment. She wasn't sad, nor was she despondent. She would meet Kumwar Sahib again, but it would be a pure, selfless meeting. She was walking the path of duty, set by love itself, so why should she feel sorrow or despair? Suddenly, she thought, what if Kumwar Sahib, not finding her, falls into such despair that he does something tragic? The very thought sent shivers down her spine. For a moment, her resolve faltered. Then she sat down at the table and began to write a letter. My dearest, please forgive me. I do not feel worthy to become your wife. You have shown me a love I never imagined could exist in this life. For me, that is more than enough. As long as I live, I will be immersed in your love. It seems to me that the memory of love is far sweeter than the experience of it. I will return and see you again, but only after you marry. That is the condition for my return. My love, please do not be angry with me. I leave these jewels you sent me as a gift for your bride. I will only take with me the pearl necklace, your first gift to me. I beg you, do not search for me. I am yours, and always will be. Yours, Tara. After writing the letter, Tara placed it on the table, put on the pearl necklace, and stepped outside. From the theater hall came the sound of music. For a moment, her feet seemed tied to the ground. 15 years of association were breaking today. Suddenly, she saw the manager approaching. Her heart skipped a beat. Quickly, she darted behind a wall. Once the manager had passed, she hurried out of the courtyard and, after walking through the alleys for a while, headed toward the Ganges. The riverbank was quiet. A few ascetics and pilgrims lay in front of their fires, while others slept on the ground, wrapped in blankets. The Ganges flowed like a giant serpent. A small boat was docked at the shore, and a boatman sat inside. Tara called out, "Boatman, will you take me across?" The boatman replied, "At this hour, no boats go out." But when Tara offered him double the fare, he lifted his oar and untied the boat. "Where do you want to go at this late hour, ma'am?" he asked. Tara said, "To a village across the river." The boatman, rowing gently, replied, "I didn't get any passengers tonight." Tara said, "That's fine. Just take me across." The boat was untied, and Tara stepped inside. The boat moved slowly, as if gliding through a dream. At that moment, the moon of Ekadashi rose from beyond the earth, guiding its bright boat across the vast sky. The story ends here.
This story was originally written by Premchand, a legendary author of Hindi literature almost 100 years ago. Do let us know if you like the story. If it so happens that you did not like the story, even then, please let us know your choice so that we can find something you would like to listen. If you like the story, tell your friends as well. If you want to enjoy more stories like these from so many other Indian authors, subscribing the channel would make it easy. Bye for now.